Good afternoon. Since we are already 45, maybe we can start already. 46 na.
Is Ma'am Mary Ann already in, Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am is in.
Ay, ayun. Ma'am, shall we start? We are already 46 in the G-Meet. Ma'am, nakamute ka po, Ma'am.
Okay, yeah. Yes, I thought that my microphone is Sige, thank you. Let's start na.
Okay, so good afternoon, Mary Ann, Ma'am Glenis, and Ma'am Julita. So we are already closing our 4-day inset, and I hope we are already prepared and equipped once again to recalibrate our ways in teaching so that we can also recalibrate our ways in reaching our learners. Bagong paraan na naman ang mga natutunan natin. Siguro totoo yung sinasabi natin na it's just a repetition of what have been discussed before. But just like in our learners, we inculcate to them the must always be to ito nga to reach our learners. So may we have the preliminaries. Sir Lester Win. Sir Les.
Yes,
We
sir.
have
Hello.
just we just have the Okay, thank you very much, Sir Lesterwin. And now may we welcome Sir James Mike Kaday, Master Teacher 1, for his welcome remarks.
Thank you very much, Sir Burdick and Sir Lasterin, to our dear principal, Ma'am Mary Ann Madrid, our school head, and of course, we also have our head teacher, Ma'am Glenis, and our focal person, Ma'am Julieta Bucaneg. To all of you dear teachers, isang magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. The best is yes to come. So ito po ay it may sound cliche to everyone, but I think after our inset, ito pong isa sa ating mga words na pwede natin bigkasin. Yes, dear teachers, the in-service training gave us more chance to know more about our role as teachers in collaborating more for our learners. Let us not stop here, but start here again to fuel up our performance in catering the needs of our learners. We must work together and be together in contextualizing and crafting relevant quality learning materials for our learners. To our brilliant speakers, a sharer of different projects, thank you for bringing light to our teaching and, of course, to our learning. Let us work with open hearts always and listen to one another, collaborate more for the betterment of our learners. Magwagi sana ang pagkakaisa ng bawat isa sa pagbuo pa ng mas komprehensibong proyekto at mga estratehiya. Huwag sana tayo mapagod, mabagot, at magsawang intindihin ang ating mag-aaral bagkos habaan ng ating pasensya para maging instrumento sa kanilang pagbuo ng magandang bukas. Sa ating lahat, congratulations. Let us work with passion and excellence. Let sharing of best practices and innovations be our practice all the time. To all of you po, thank you very much and good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Sir James. And now, Sir John Rad de la Cruz, Senior High School Teacher 2, will now give his insights.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. Parang hindi ko nakikita yung sarili ko. Am I audible po?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Loud and clear.
Yeah. Thank you very much po. So good afternoon to one and all. It took me quite some time to gather my thoughts on how to present my insights about this in-service training 2022. I must say, I am anticipating what have been discussed in our 4-day, or should we say 5-day, reskilling and upskilling sessions are mere repetitions of what were already discussed in the past. Perhaps this is to pinch us of the system which DepEd wants us to indirectly absorb. But in reality, we are left without any choice but to accept it and to live with it. Well, this is the new normal, as we always put it, or should we say, there's always the word pandemic as an excuse. However, though we are exquisitely rich in terms of ideologies and pedagogies, when we do not live with it through actions, it becomes inutile and remains to be just in the state of mind. We have we have what we call the sulong edukalidad. Yes, we always hear it. It has become our daily maxim, which stands for forwarding the quality of education in our country. We do present high general weighted average on our subjects, or what we call the scholastic standing. But let me ask, do we scrutinize page by page the outputs submitted by our students? And from there, assess what went well and what went wrong? Have we been very honest in assessing our students, or have we just looked on the numbers and input it in our records, and voila, no? The student passed without a basis. Well, I am reminded when I am entering the grades of my Targaryen students in their temporary cards. I can't help but be amazed because here comes one student who did not turn in any output, yet passed all her subjects except mine. I tried checking my monitoring sheet and reflected. Well, that's basically because I am the one distributing the outputs to the subject teachers. And as I recall, no outputs have been submitted to me. And when I looked into my monitoring sheet, the Google Classroom, and in our GCs or chat groups, or even in the closed group, there was none. So there are no proofs of submission. And no matter how I look into traces or evidences, I got nothing. And I rested my case pondering, how did my fellow teachers do it? But as I pondered for more, I am reminded of what we are always told of. That is, do not question. So I stopped overthinking and let it be. I am presenting this situation not to point out the blames to anyone, nor to question the manner of assessment we conduct to give grades. We have academic freedom anyway. But just like a caring parent, I am bothered by some of the commentaries I get from some of my students. Just like, why is that student A got higher than student B when student B religiously attended, turned in requirements, and that student A did not do anything? Will I do what student A does to also get good grades or even higher grades? Well, these are some of their confessions. Fellow teachers, we often see the quotation, honesty is the best policy, noticeably printed in our classroom. But the question is, are we really honest enough in our assessment? We often discussed in our LAC sessions and inset topics on assessment, all these strategies and so on, but do we really use them with all honesty? And that is ating fellow teachers, yourself. What I'm trying to point out is that, yes, we always undergo these upskilling and reskilling to not to sacrifice the quality of education, but to uplift the quality of education. Because if an out of school youth would argue, what has been the difference of his life to that of a schoolgoer when when what we give is the same as what the out of school youth does? Well, perhaps this is an isolated educational perspective, but let me give my appreciation and kudos to those who, like me, bravely give honest grades to students. Those who never mind the jiwa, just to say that he or she is an outstanding teacher. Those who are never afraid of responsibilities due to backlogs, and those who give what is due to Caesar. Congratulations to our brilliant speakers for the wisdom and for rekindling the learnings we have on the topics discussed. Most topics are repetitive or repetitions of what had been discussed in the past, but you did not fail to fill our jar of knowledge. But let us always remember a knowledge gained without having applied remains a knowledge, not a wisdom. Ultimate assessment of learning outcomes. When all that have been learned from us by our students are applied on their day-to-day lives. Congratulations to all of us for battling the 4 day, or should I say the 5 day in-service training with an information overload. Thank you and have a good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Sir John Rad. Okay. So may we have the sharing of key takeaways by our speakers, our sharer. Okay. May we start with Ma'am Monar Manuel, to be followed by the rest of the sharers.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Blessed afternoon, everyone. As always, in this year's virtual inset, we focused more on the improvement of the teaching and learning process, but in a different platform. I'm just so glad that we are all participative in all the activities, which shows that we are ready and willing to recalibrate our teaching ways. Congratulations to all the brilliant speakers. Let me summarize my takeaways through these two sayings. First, there are many ways to kill a chicken. Sabi nga nila maraming paraan kung paano pumatay ng manok or paano lutuin ang manok, yun na lang. And so with the teaching and learning process, there are a lot of strategies and OERs that we can utilize and employ to achieve the quality education. Let's not be afraid to learn and relearn. The second saying goes this way. It takes two to tango. As we finish this virtual inset, as we learn these new strategies, may we not also forget to hone the partnership we have with the learners. We are not just here to be a teacher. We are here to guide and facilitate learning. To sum up, let us not stop making ourselves better. Let us always be ready to learn, relearn, and even unlearn. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Monar. Now may we have Ma'am Fredelisa Mangoma.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, From the 4-day inset, I think all of us was enlightened on the uses of different teaching strategies that we could use to make the teaching learning process interesting and effective, not only in this time of pandemic. This event let us reassess and recalibrate ourselves. Hand in hand, we learn together. Hand in hand, let's give the best interest to our learners. And hand in hand, let us make the teaching learning process at the most of it. Thank you.
Now may we have Ma'am Mylene Mariano.
Hello, good afternoon everyone.
Good afternoon,
Uh,
ma'am.
so nagpo so mostly or lahat-lahat yung 5 days inset training natin, naka-focus tayo on open educational resources, yung OER natin. So binigyan ko din ng iba pang meaning ang OER. So ang letter O, we have the other intervention. So yung sinasabi ni Ma'am Mary Ann sa atin na we have yung lifelong learning natin sa ating mga estudyante. So nagbibigay tayo ng other intervention. So yung E, engage. So ano yung engage? We have to engage in our work, our students, our stakeholders, para naman maganda yung flow of teaching and learning process natin. So we have R, reserve. Bakit reserve? So reserve our life to give and gain more knowledge to others. Salamat!
Thank you very much, Ma'am Mylene. Now may we have Ma'am Mary Ann Torres. Ma'am Mary Ann, are you in? Okay, Sir Lester Win, may we have the next one? Okay, so at this time, thank you very much to our sharers of key takeaways. Okay, and yes, so may we have this time to read to you and present the certificate of recognition. Let me read the content. Republic of the Philippines, Department of Education, Region 2, Cagayan Valley, Schools Division of Cagayan, Gonzaga West District, Gonzaga National High School. Certificate of recognition is hereby presented to our speakers and to our participants for sharing his or her expertise on the topic during the upskilling and reskilling teachers' competence in the virtual service training for teachers, held via Google Meet on January 31, 2022, and February 2 to 4, 2022. Given this fourth day of February 2022 at Gonzaga National High School, Smart Gonzaga, Cagayan. Signed, Mary Ann C. Madrid, PhD, Secondary School Principal 3. So congratulations to all of us and to our speakers. Thank you very much for sharing your time and your expertise to us. Thank you very much. Now may we have Ma'am Julita Bucaneg for the oath of commitment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sir Michael. So as we end our very fruitful inset for this school year, here is our commitment. We as JET, the justified excellent teachers of our beloved GNHS, in this 4-day in-service training, we experienced and found out as an opportunity to be refreshed, to learn something unique, and even unlearn. I, in behalf of 60 excellent teachers and non-teaching personnel of Gonzaga National High School, strongly commit ourselves to fervently do our responsibilities as agents of change, as parents to our learners, and good citizens of our beloved Philippines. We will commit ourselves to embrace new things, innovations, strategies, and perform our part in the best of our abilities and strengths so that no learner is left behind. We join hands to support in inspiring and molding the new hopes of our fatherland, the Philippines. We commit ourselves in our profession with the love of God. May God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Julita. And now, to challenge us all, may we call on our
Yes, thank you so much, Michael Verdict. It looks like our internet service is not cooperating because I was not able to really listen to some of the insights or the sharing of those assigned. At any rate, I know that what they shared are somewhat challenging. And so, my role to challenge you maybe was already taken by some who were assigned to share their thoughts, the welcome remarks, the key takeaways, which I was not able really to completely listen to those sharings. To our school head, Ma'am Glenis, our head teacher, Ma'am Glenis Santiago, to Ma'am Julita Bucaneg, our senior high school focal person, to all the Jets, as she is always telling us, the justified and
excellent teachers of Gonzaga. Ako naman, I'm not good at coining words. I don't know what happened to me, but I would like to propose for a trip. 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 I challenge all of you to join me into this trip. What does this trip mean? It may not literally be a trip or a travel or a journey, but then I just realized that as teachers, we really need to welcome these adjectives. They may not be new to us, but let us introduce the 4 words that may become part of ourselves as we begin another trip in our education, continuing education with our learners. T stands for, I heard our SDS saying tenacity, but then I would like to use the word tenacious because it's a descriptive word. Tenacious, letter R, resilient, letter I, indefatigable, and letter P, persistent. So trip. Let's go on a trip. Tenacious teachers, resilient teachers, indefatigable teachers, and persistent teachers. You know that repetition is very much essential, especially when we listen to our favorite love songs or our favorite rock songs that will bring us to the yesteryears of our life when we repeat the chorus or repeat the refrain. So repetition is just giving emphasis because it is very essential so that this in-service training may be a repetition of what has already been given to you, but then we really need to repeat because there is, ano ba yan sa Tagalog? Masarap ang ulit-ulitin. So my challenge, my fellow teachers, I know that every time we speak, every time we share our insights, there is always this challenging, it's always a challenge. And so as we end our 4 day and a half, we have extended until today, no? Because of the overloading of information. But as we have said, they may overload us, but there is a need for us to get overload because we are indefatigable and we are very persistent, and we have to promise to ourselves that we hold on to what is being repeated, to hold closely to our promise to the agency, promise to ourselves and to our learners to provide the kind of education that they deserve. I did not make use of the word quality because quality now, the the quality of education that I give may not be the kind of quality of education that she gives. So that, my dear fellow teachers, we talk about resiliency, and we know that resilience in education does not mean we bounce back. Instead, we are gearing towards a transformation. And that this pandemic, as we see it, because this is our second year already, is leading us, really, we may not see it, but it's a reality that we are shifting from physical to digital. Although we are not saying that we do not want the face-to-face modality anymore, still we advocate that modality, and in fact we are looking forward to our stakeholders to support our plan to have this face-to-face or limited face-to-face modality with our learners, especially the learners that who are testing our patience, they're testing our resiliency, our tenacity, our persistence, and our indefatigability. And so, I am looking forward to a GNHS moving towards the era of digital citizenship. I remember I made mention about digital citizenship in one of our virtual meetings before, that our vision, our goal is to make Gonzaga National High School a digital learning environment for our learners. You have shown that the potentials, the talents, and everything that you have shown in our in-service training. We can say that Gonzaga National High School is home to podcasters, TV broadcasters, radio announcers, we have script writers, editor, technical men, vlogger, what else? Online teachers, curriculum writers, research writers, innovators, creators, instructional leaders, programmer, and many more. So that our school is a complete package. And when we put all together, all these talents that you have, you collaborate, you coordinate, you vote in, there will always be a masterpiece. And that's the challenge. How are we going to collaborate? Because in collaborating, you need to make yourself humble and accept others, other recommendations, other suggestions, not for you, but for our learners. And so, there goes the challenge. How do we vault in? Paano po natin makumpleto ang puzzle? Because we are all, we are like the missing link in a puzzle. So paano natin pagsama-samahin ang mga sarili natin para makabuo tayo ng napakagandang masterpiece? And so, my fellow teachers, I know very well that we are very flexible and we accept change because, of course, change is the only permanent thing in this world. So before I end, I would like to relate a story. I do not know if, I know that you already heard about this story because I just heard this also in one of your trainings. I do not remember that, but I still remember we had it in Santa Ana before. I do not know the training. Basta I heard one of the speakers na nakakatawa, no? And this is the story about, I do not know if I can relate it as funny as the way he did it in way back in Santa Ana, but because I'm not also I'm not a good storyteller, lalo na kapag ito ay nakakatawa. I know that most of you are already familiar with this, but may I just borrow this story to end up my challenge. This is a story about the ducks. Mga ducks. Yeah. And they envy the birds, the eagles that fly high in the sky, because the ducks could not fly high like the eagle in the sky. They could not soar high. And so, their goal is to outsmart the birds that fly in the sky. So, the ducks, to outsmart the birds or the eagle in the sky, they attended a training how to fly high in the sky. Okay, and so the training went on, and to cut the story short, after the training, the ducks taught how to fly even higher than the eagles. And then after the closing program, when they received their certificates and it was time for the ducks to go home, what did they do? They went home. They walked home instead of them trying to instead of trying the newly acquired skill, that's the flying, no? They did not, but they walked home the way they used to be. And so, my dear fellow teachers, let's fly high, let's soar high for the welfare of our learners. Again, thank you very much, and congratulations to all of you. As we have been saying, our achievements, accomplishments is the combined effort of each and every teacher in the organization. Again, thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Mary Ann. Thank you very much. That is our 5-day inset, mid-year inset, and I hope we are all refreshed with all the things discussed by our speakers. At signal, mga kapatid. Ayan po. So maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Naway pagpalain tayo ng may kapal. Ipagpatuloy natin ang ating nasimulan upang patuloy ang paglipad nating lahat. Photo op. Okay, thank you very much po. God bless and keep safe everyone. Goodbye.
Sir Verdict,
Thank you.
Okay, while we
W
are having
meeting,
our
when no another UG meet.
while we are having our pictorials or photo ops, may I just take this opportunity to remind you, our fellow teachers, to you may conduct Project SAR tomorrow. Of course, I know that you have already identified those learners who really need our assistance, and bring your materials already no? Not the whole materials for the first quarter and the second quarter. Just your intervention, your intervention, so that when you go there, you will be able to get what we want to get from our learners. Kaya for the senior high school, your school program will still be provided tomorrow, and Ma'am Julita has asked permission that you are going to have your focus group discussion. Unfortunately, to Michael and to Tina and Michael, you can as well discuss with them the school program that you have. Pwede naman, you can include that in your FGD, Ma'am Julita, no? Do meron na, nakita ko naman na yung yung rinopost nila Michael and alam bakit ganito, ang dami-daming something is wrong with our plan. Because in the sana ako. Hindi ko alam tuloy kung paano ako babalik. Dito kasi sa baba ako nakatingin, should be up there. Okay. All right. So it's just timely that we are done with our in-service training. And another update is that today we are scheduled to give a brief orientation with our applicants. So we have 3 applicants in the senior high school. May we request our school selection team, Ma'am Glennis, Ma'am Donna, Ma'am Joseph. We could provide Tammy also and Remy. If you could provide our teacher applicants with a brief orientation, kahit bukas na lang. Oo. Are they still here? Nandito ba sila? Sila Christina, Christine, and Elisa. Elisa. Okay. Kasi 3 lang daw sila. Kala ko nakahabol yung isa.
Nakahabol si Felipe, ma'am. Tsaka si Joy.
Ay! Florence! Meron pa lang please update me then para mai-submit natin yung pangalan nila kay sir.
Yung pinapilapan mo sa akin,
please,
Florence, nandun sa room ko.
Sige po, ma'am.
Nandun din lahat yung kanilang papers.
And please, if we are on site tomorrow dito sa school, sa office, para maayos natin yung kanilang mga folders. Oo, Florence.
Sige po, ma'am.
And, para maayos natin, mai-submit din natin. So, i-update mo ako kasi 3 lang yung yung naibigay natin noon. Para, kailan sila nag-submit?
Nakahabol sila ng deadline, ma'am.
Okay. Hindi niyo ako sinabihan. 3 lang yung pinasa ko na pangalan kay... So, Florence, 3 lang ba yung binigay mo?
Yes, ma'am.
Kasi nandun nila ni Florence, ma'am, sabi niya kunin daw para i-encode. Hinintay ko na kunin sa akin. Wala naman.
Ma'am, di pa hindi nag-submit na kanyang may sapay lang nag-submit, hindi.
Okay.
Hindi pa kasi deadline mo. Nandun lahat. Kumpleto.
Sige, ma'am. Sige, ma'am.
Sige. let's
Report
just
ako
have
bukas.
mag-meeting na lang tayo bukas na selection committee together with our para sa orientation nila. We'll just give you your topics for the orientation. Okay, so tapos na ba tayo sa photo ops? If we can leave now so that the senior high school with Ma'am Julita Bucaneg as their focal person will use this platform in their focus group discussion para mas magaganda na, mas madali na tayo na ang mag-leave para sila na lang ang maiwan. Okay? So, see you again. And may I request our grade 8. Sino yung mga grade 8 na kasama ko sa pupuntahan natin? Let's go na.
They are preparing to jump off. Ma'am, thank you for giving us this time for us to discuss matters. Yes, senior high school, mga anak, let's stay. Cleaners remain.